Welcome back to the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show. I'm your host, John Moses. Now we'd like to recognize our Student Athlete of the Week, women's basketball point guard Ando Tran. The Webster, Massachusetts native led the Chargers in a 1-1 week, including a 79-63 win over Lemoyne on Saturday afternoon. She averaged 17.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game in the two games. Tran scored a season-high 20 points against Lemoyne and shot an amazing 50% from the floor on the week. Our Week 14 Athlete of the Week, Ando Tran. This week I caught up with the sophomore and talked to her about the season and what she expects for the rest of the season. Joined now by our Student Athlete of the Week, Charger point guard Ando Tran. Ando, thanks for joining us. Well, this season your team is running a new offense. It's a dribble drive system with 4 out and 1 in. How do you feel like your team is really adjusting to it?
Honestly, I think we're doing real good at it. We do it every day. We just have to be smarter with how we're doing it. Like, if they're sagging, then we're not gonna drive in all the way. But we have drop zones. We have racking it. There's a lot of options that come out of this dribble drive, and I really like it, and I'm pretty sure everybody on my team likes it too.
Well, that's good. What personal goals did you set for yourself for this season?
Personal goals would be getting more assists and turnovers, of course, and to be above 40% in the field goals and three-pointers.
Well, every team seems to have a player that flies under the radar, someone that surprises when they first step onto campus. Who would you say has been a player like that on your team this season?
A player that I would definitely pick who surprised me would be Bria Moore. Bria is she's amazing. Like, she's great. She works hard every single day. She's very eager to learn, very eager to keep getting better every single day, and I would pick her to be the most surprising. Yeah.
Well, growing up, was there a player that you ever looked up to or tried to emulate your game after? I mean, so you talk to some players and they'll say, they watched a high school senior for their entire lives and just wanted to play like them. Was there a player like that in your life?
Well, there was a player like that when I was in high school. I was a freshman, and there was this girl, Alexis George. She was a senior, and I would just remember watching her play, and I'd be like, whoa, she's so strong and confident with the ball. Like, I want to be like that one day. And then, she graduated, and I really had nobody else to look up to, and I just played basketball.
Well, now that you're in your sophomore season, how much has it really helped you to play against teams that you're familiar with? Opponents that you've seen before, and how defenses play against you specifically.
In my second year, I definitely picked up some habits of certain players on certain teams, because that's just how it is. You just have to pick up on people's habits, but it definitely helped me a lot because I'm more familiar with the whole game and how they play and how the NE10 is and how every game is competitive and how every possession is valuable. So I would say it definitely helped me a lot. Being in my second year, playing against the same teams that are in our conference.
Well, Ando, thanks so much for your time. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
On the other side of this break, we'll be joined by head men's basketball coach Ted Hotaling. This is the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show. Welcome back to the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show. I'm your host, John Moses. To talk more about the men's basketball season so far, we're joined now by head coach Ted Hotaling. Coach, thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here. Thanks.
Well, Coach, when we spoke last time, your team was really struggling on offense in the losses to Pace and Adelphi. But you've managed to win your last two games by scoring 65 and 61 points. What's really been the key to those two wins?
Yeah, the biggest thing that's happened for us is just our focus on the defensive end has really been incredible. We played two of the best shooting teams in the league in Assumption and Lemoyne this past week. And in both cases, really held them well below their average, held them under 60 points, and really held them to low field goal percentage. But probably the biggest thing is, we held Assumption to 3 offensive rebounds. They missed 31 shots, only got 3 back, and we held Lemoyne to 6 offensive rebounds. So we've really done a great job defensively, guarding the paint, and then protecting our own backboards.
Well, in your game against Assumption, the Greyhounds, they just wanted to pound it inside to Beinert and Zenovich.
Right.
How did you feel like your post defenders did in that game?
Yeah, I really do think we've made a huge focus of it early in the season in our preseason practices, and I think London Breck is one of, if not the best defender in our league. the one thing we were concerned about just giving up drop-ins, meaning just angled shots in the paint to the rim, and we did a great job of not giving them anything easy, and they really had to earn every point they got down low. But no, I think our post defense has been great, and then even our younger players like Cyrus and Eric and Christian, who maybe aren't as sophisticated as London is inside, have done a really, really good job just moving out a little bit further, making people shoot over them, and again, blocking out and getting the ball.
In the second half of that game against Assumption, you shot 12 of 26 from the field, a marked improvement from the first half.
Right.
What was really the difference in that second half on offense?
Yeah, we wanted to kind of like be a soccer team and counterattack and really push off turnovers and missed shots, and that's what we did. I thought Jeff Atkins did a great job with his early push, creating some fouls, getting us into the bonus in a good timely manner. But we just took better shots and made shots. So it was really, I think, more indicative of our defense getting us out in transition and getting good shots.
Well, Jeff Atkins really made some crucial plays down the stretch in that game. Talk a little bit about his game and the way he really impacted that one against Assumption.
Yeah, he's done a great job taking care of the basketball. He's very, very fast, so he was very hard to handle for them in transition. He fouled out Raznacki, their starting point guard, just by putting his head down and using his speed. And then a big finish at the end of the game, which I'm sure is probably the highlight of that game.
Well, sure. Let's take a look at that highlight right now. So walk us through this play here.
Yeah, this is out of a timeout. The one thing I think we do have is some speed in the backcourt. This is a play we call sprint. We just sprint out the four-man and isolate Jeff. We had a great shooter in Justin Exum in the corner, which they can't give strong side help. And he just makes a great play, uses his speed, and obviously he's a very, very good finisher, and with contact, gets to the line as well.
Well, we've made mention of London Barek and Eric Anderson, some of their post defense. They both rank in the top 10 in blocked shots in the early season. And talk about the defensive dynamic that you can do on the perimeter with those two guys protecting the rim.
Yeah, a big part of the game was our pressure on the perimeter, right? When guys build trust with each other, I think our perimeter players really trust that London and Eric and Christian and Cyrus will be in the right spot. Last year we had no emergency D. It was with charge takers. This year we have charge takers and shot blockers. So it does allow us to put a little more pressure on the perimeter and try and speed people up. And if guys do get by us, we do have some help in the lane with shot blockers. And even when they don't block shots, they change shots, which really helps us make them miss.
Well, in the first half of your game on Saturday against Lemoyne, you shot 28% from the field.
Right.
Lemoyne had 14 points in the paint to your 0. What really concerned you going into halftime against Lemoyne, and what adjustments did you want to make?
Yeah, my biggest concern going into the game was just how were we going to attack their zone defense. We hadn't seen it all year. We've played mainly against man-to-man teams. They really play a methodical. They have a methodical approach. Really, we played at their pace. We didn't get much in transition, and we were forced to take long jump shots that were contested. Really, we just tried to pick it up on the defensive end, and when we got it off the defensive backboard, just push the ball a little bit, put a little more pressure on them. And then in the second half, we did change our lineup a little bit. We, with Christian Forius at the 5, we inserted Shanti to pass at the 3, who hasn't gotten a lot of time this year, and we just tried to spread them out and drive them and shoot threes. And fortunately for us, we made a lot of those threes in the second half.
Well, shooting the ball from three-point range is one of those things Justin Exum's just really good at.
He's great at it.
He really struggled against Assumption but talk about the bounce-back performance he had against Lemoyne on Saturday.
Yeah, Justin's a very competitive player. He doesn't get rattled easily. One game, if he shoots it poorly, it doesn't really affect him the next game. It kind of makes him focus in a little bit more and shoot shots. His light is so green, it's blue for me, so he can shoot anytime he wants when he's open, and he's earned that right. But he had a great game against Lemoyne and really, was a great shot maker.
Well, let's take a look at these highlights here. A couple of times Justin comes up open for 3. So, Ted, walk us through what's happening on here.
Yeah, we just want to space the floor. They lose sight of him a little bit, and they lost sight of him a few times here in this game. And, going into games, Justin is a huge emphasis for the opposing teams. They know he's a great three-point shooter. They know he has a quick release and deep, deep range. This was a huge shot for us. It got us within 5 and really got us going in the second half.
Yeah, you made a little mention of the change in the offensive philosophy in the second half, where you put 5 shooters on the floor and you just wanted to spread them out. I mean, what were you really trying to accomplish with that, other than just having them move from side to side?
Yeah, we weren't scoring inside. They have Jim Jensen, their big guy, is very, very effective protecting the rim, and because of that, they can really space out and guard the arc. But with 5 guys on the perimeter, it does force him to close out a little bit and guard people on the perimeter. And when that happens, you can get some shots in the lane a little bit free, and also cause a little bit more help where two guys are guarding the ball and get some open shots.
So now let's take a closer look at a really key sequence in the game. It's a real tight game at the time, about 4.5 minutes left to play.
Right.
Now walk us through this play here.
Yeah, we had really disrupted their ball screen offense. They do a really good job of executing. They're the second best team in the league in field goal percentage. And I thought our pressure and our ball screen defense was really, really good. The one thing we tried to do was keep him on the sideline ball screens, and you'll see Jeff Atkins change his angle here, and we're just trying to send him into a shot blocker. So like you mentioned before, we do have much more size at the rim and length, and it really affected the shot here. And again, when you can defend and make them miss, and then make them defend, and you see here we got 5 guys out, and it is kind of 5-on-4, and it does leave people open.
Boy, Jeremy Williams, he ends up just dialing this up from another area code.
Yeah, he really does. He hit 2 huge shots in this game, and that's a deep, deep shot, and you can see our bench really excited for him. Jeremy's had a really good couple games here.
I think Eric Anderson has been a really important piece for your team, particularly down the stretch in that last game. He was big enough that you let him defend against Jim Jansen, right. But he was a perimeter guy, so you can use him on the perimeter. And he comes up with a real highlight play. Talk about his versatility.
Yeah, he's a real matchup problem. He's shooting almost 40% from 3. He's a very good passer and a very good dribbler. He has guard skills at his size. So to have him at the 4 spot is like having another guard, but it allows you to defend with a big at the other end. So it's really, he's really a unique player, really helps us on both ends of the floor, but really gives us a lot of different things we can use with him on there.
Well, now let's take a look at this final highlight clip. So here you're in this 5-out set, or roughly that 5-out set that you were working with.
Yeah, we'll call it home. It's supposed to look like a house here, but really just trying to move the ball. Eric gets the baseline, and the reason you run this set is to draw that 5-man out to guard on the perimeter, which he's not adept at doing. And it really worked out well here where we got him on a quicker, faster player, and Eric made him pay for it. Great play by him.
While some coaches would look back at a 4-2 record and be happy with where they stand, are there things that concern you right now about your team?
Yeah, I don't know if we're making enough shots. I'm really happy with our defense. We had 2 stretches in the Assumption game. We held them to 2 points the last 8 minutes of the first half. From the 14-minute mark to the 4-minute mark against Lemoyne, it was 28-13. So we've given ourselves a chance to win with our defense. We do need to make more shots, and we do need to handle the ball much better, which you and I have talked about before. And I think if we can improve in those areas, we'll be a very tough team to beat each time we play.
Well, this week you play American International on Tuesday night. What do you expect that game to be like?
Yeah, very physical, very tough. They're very defensive-minded. Coach Leptowski does a great job with his team. They are very fast in transition. This will be a great challenge for us to score points at a consistent rate, and then also a great challenge for us to get back in transition, defend the paint, and defensive rebound.
Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck this week.
Great. Thanks so much.
For more, turn to NewhavenChargers.com. Or, for a completely student perspective, go to charliescavalry.wordpress.com.